Я пока жду, что она присоединится, объясню, что происходит. Мы заканчиваем сейчас обучение с ней обе по присутствию на домашних родах. И одно из заданий в том, что... О, вот она пришла. В том, чтобы сделать прямой эфир. Соответственно, у нас будет дальше на английском, как только она присоединится. И если у вас какие-то вопросы будут, вы можете писать их на русском, я ей переведу. По времени мы, наверное, где-то около получаса это будет. Я ее почему-то не могу добавить. Но иногда у меня ведет себя подозрительно Инстаграм. Сейчас я попробую ее от себя добавить. Так, вроде как приглашена. Отправили мое приглашение. Ну, у меня загадочно, да, ведет себя Инстаграм по поводу эфиров.
Hello. It worked.
Yeah. Because sometimes I don't know why, but it's tricky to go live with somebody because I am sending a request and other side can't accept it. And
Yeah.
I can't accept their request. So I don't know why, but sometimes it happens.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
This
it
works
worked.
for us. Yeah, great.
How are you doing that?
So I introduced and announced a little bit in Russian the topic why we are here and what for we are doing this live. You may introduce for your audience maybe
Okay. Yeah.
something.
So hello. Glad you guys are here to watch. I'm here with Natalie, and we're together taking the Matrabirth Mentor Institute course. And we're accountability partners, and one of our assignments is to do a live to discuss why we want to learn birth outside the system, not in the medical system. So that's what we're here to do today. So yeah, I don't know if you want to start,
So
Natalie, and share.
why
You want to start,
why you
or I can start?
Let me know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
Why are we doing it?
almost I know you, but I don't know why you choose this path.
That's
Really.
why I did. Okay. Well, yeah, I'll go first. Yeah, I chose this because, well, let's see. The first time I ever heard of birth outside the system, I think I was 16. I found a book in my library that was Unassisted Childbirth by Laura Shanley. And I read
Oh,
that and I was like, oh, like that's cool. She just like had a baby, like just at home, like whatever, with nobody there. That was the first time I had ever heard of this. So I was interested
you
from
was
that age.
born
And
at
then,
hospital, yeah? You
say it
was
again.
born in a hospital, yeah?
Yeah, I was born in a hospital.
Okay.
My siblings were born in hospital. That was,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. We knew a few families that had home births, but with a midwife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway,
Till the age of you're 16, when you find this book, you already knew somebody who had cool,
yeah,
cool, really
yeah.
cool.
Big families in my town, and they had like 7 kids at home, or 8, 10 kids. Yeah.
Whoa!
So I knew it was a thing, but that was the first time I encountered like birth with no medical assistance, so no midwife, no nothing. And at that age, even I was interested to become a midwife. Like I wanted to work in birth to support birth. I thought, and I thought midwifery would be the path to do that. And then when my sister had her first baby, she was 21, I was 19, and I got to be at her birth, and she had a
And
home birth.
it was how many years from today?
From today, that would be, how old am I? 5 years ago. 5 years ago. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, 5 years ago, I was at her birth of my first little niece, and she had a medical midwife, and she did a home birth. And she enjoyed her experience, kind of, but then looking back, she kind of realized that like the most painful parts of her birth were when the midwife like had said there was a cervical lip and she moved it for her, and literally I heard my sister scream in pain. And then she ended with like pushing the baby out on her back, being coached. We were someone was holding each leg and the midwife is there and they have the light and the gloves and it's the whole thing.
Sounds crazy.
But it's a home birth, it's like, oh, she's doing a home birth, like it's so different, but then it's still very medicalized. But she did it, and yeah, so anyway, then later on she was like reflecting back and realized she didn't really like having the midwife there. Like that the next time she realized that she was just giving all her power to the midwife. And so the next time she gave birth, she was like, I'm not gonna have a midwife. Like, I think I'm just gonna do this on my own. And even for me, who was like, I was interested in home birth, but I was like, I don't know, like that's still kind of crazy to just like do it alone, like to have no midwife.
Nobody
but
here.
she asked me to be there. Yeah, exactly. She asked if I would come. Yeah, I know. And it kind of freaked me out because I was like, oh, like I need to, like I have to be like the midwife almost was my thought. I was like, I need to know like what to do. Like,
I have to be prepared.
I had this dream that freaked me out about it. And I was like, that's weird. But at that point I had heard of Free Birth Society and Yolanda Norris Clark. And so I had like I listened to Yolanda's old podcasts more. And then I kind of looked at Free Birth Society a little here and there, but not very much. But my sister was like listening to the podcast a lot to prepare for her free birth, obviously. But anyway, I listened after I had this dream that freaked me out about like, what if something happens? I listened to the Free Birth Society podcast with Sister Morningstar, the one where they talk about the infant first breaths. And that episode is so good. I don't know if you've heard that one. But anyway, it just like gave me such a sense of
I've heard about placenta. I'm not sure that about first breath. No.
Yeah.
I think I first time. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
kind
problem.
of like what you about in our class, if you remember. She just spoke
about At the class I remember.
Yeah, it was kind of like that, but in the podcast. And when I heard that, I was like, oh, like my sister's got it. Like I don't have to worry because this is for my sister to worry. Like this is her experience. So yeah, anyway.
Now I'm free.
I was like, oh right, this isn't me. This isn't my responsibility. This is her responsibility. So yeah, it was really freeing to learn that. And then I was like, okay, like it's gonna be okay. She's making the call here. So anyway, I attended my sister's birth of her free birth. I mean sovereign birth, I guess, but her baby came at 36 weeks, where we lived, a midwife can't attend a birth before 37 weeks, so she couldn't have had a midwife anyway. And her baby was breech, which a midwife also can't attend in the state of California. So she couldn't have had a midwife even if she wanted one, but she didn't. Anyway, she gave birth to her baby.
She had to choose between hospital and free birth. No?
Yeah, pretty much. But she had already made the decision. She was already going to free. Like, yeah. So it wasn't a case where she was dropped by the midwife. It was that she already knew she was doing this. But now, like, it was a good thing she knew she was doing this because if she had a midwife, they would have dropped her. So, yeah. So, yeah, she labored for like 12 hours in her home with just her husband there. And I got there toward the end and helped with her older daughter. And then her daughter went to sleep. And then she gave birth in the living room on her hands and knees with just me next to her and her husband behind her to catch the baby. And yeah, so
the baby was still breech, yeah, at the point of birth.
Yeah. Yes, she was born breech.
So you witnessed breech birth.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, she came out like in a little cannonball, like her feet tucked in a little ball. Slowly came down. And then, yeah, she was like straightening her legs as she was kind of hanging there, straightening and bending. It was so cool. It was so cool.
So amazing in case of breech birth when you see that baby is moving, but you don't see their faces.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy, but yeah, so amazing. Yeah.
And then, yeah, just in that moment, like after her baby was born and she's just, we're all sitting there, she's holding this new precious baby then, and it was just almost like peaceful and like you could just feel the like gravity of life, sickness. You know how it is when you birth or when you're in a birth. And yeah, it was just like whoa. And in that moment, I think I was 20 or 21, and I was just like oh, like this is it. Like this is what it's about. Like this is what birth is supposed to be. And I just knew, like I was like, this is what I want to see. This is what I want to
So,
support
so
in my
you,
life.
you feel some kind of relief after you witnessed her previous birth, yeah. So it's not
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Mhm.
terrifying
Yeah,
with
it
like
was
it was.
very it was quite different from the first one, where the first one was a bit more like panicked and chaotic and like, we're all like, okay, ready and push, ready and push, and
I
then the
got
baby's
fun
born.
and you go.
Yeah, yeah, and we're like, they're wiping her down and check the placenta, check the heart rate, check all of this stuff. That versus her being the one to lead the experience, her greeting her baby and holding her, bringing her to her chest, looking at her and, seeing, oh, she's breathing. She didn't cry that much. And my sister was like, should she be
Yeah,
crying more? And I was like, no, she's breathing. She's good.
it's okay
You know,
not to
she's
cry.
proud.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was such a different experience, so much more integrated and just like whole and intact. I feel like where my sister and this baby who she's been growing, they knew each other, and they got to meet each other in without the panic and the fear, with just like I don't know, she just got to be in that space of like knowing and guiding and leading the way to bring her child into the world. And yeah, it really impacted me. So yeah,
Listening,
that's my kind.
listening, the main difference I heard that it was peaceful. The second verse was peaceful. Yeah, it's really making difference. So you want to see more peaceful verses.
Yeah, I do.
That's why you
I
choose
do.
this path. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it makes all the difference for the parent, the mother, the baby, and the father. This has changed my sister's marriage. Like the way her husband
Oh.
supports her after this birth, and now they've had two free births. So she
Hmm.
just had her baby in February, which I also got to be a part of. I wasn't in the room for the birth, but was there for the immediate post. But yeah, just the way he supports her and like lifts her up and is like, yeah, of course you can do it. Like the completeness of their marriage in that versus what I see in a lot of couples where the man's unsure, like he doesn't know if the woman has it.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
He's looking to someone else to tell him that she
Somewhere in between. Yeah.
can. So yeah, that's my introduction, I suppose. So, yeah, I'd love to hear from you. What made you want to get into this?
I'm a little bit jealous to you, because you you find your past so young, and
Uh,
I guess I was, oh boy, I was 35. Yeah, and I was pregnant with my first son, and I guess I was 30 or 32 weeks pregnant. Oh, I
mhm.
lost your
Oh, am I
camera. I
back?
don't see it. Yeah. I'll let you know when it will happen.
Me too.
So I visited for first time. It was the doula who learned from Sister Morningstar in the tradition of the red tent, and
Oh,
she gave some class on it. Not on it, but in general on women's health. I guess on or living in the women's body. And she mentioned that there is an option to give birth at home. And I was like, oh,
oh.
okay. Tell me more about it. Yeah, and for the first time, through this doula, I found my midwife, and it was home birth. It was shock for the whole family because nobody before me had this experience, and everyone at our family were born at hospital,
Yeah.
so they were a little bit scared.
Yeah.
So, how will you survive in it? And I was so peaceful about it, and I was so calm, when midwife asked me a question. We have, I don't know if it's the same for USA, but here in Ukraine we have this culture around hospital bags for childbirth.
Yeah.
All pregnant women are gathering these bags. Usually it's transparent bags, special bags, special sets. And she asked me, did you pack your bags? And I was like, nope. I guess it was almost full term. And I was like, nope. And she said, oh, okay, you're ready for home birth. So I'm kind of relieved. And I asked her, maybe I should know something about breathing techniques, about, I don't know, posture, or do I need some drugs on hand to use it? And she said, all you have to know about breathing techniques is just you inhale with real and exhale with lungs. So relax.
Yeah.
Oh, it might be so easy. It's good. And uh, I was, yeah, I was so calm at the point of birth. I hadn't this previous contractions, and
Yeah.
I felt my first contraction actually at the day I birthed.
Okay.
So I was like, oh, finally, I feel these contractions. And I
Yeah.
just checked the time and I realized that, oh, no, it's not real. So I had to sleep again. And 3 hours later, I realized that, oh, no, definitely it's not some kind of training or something. I'm going to have a baby. Yeah. And the next time I was pregnant about 33 or 34 weeks, and here in Ukraine, the war started. And during the whole pregnancy, I was in contact with my midwife, and she was okay to attend my second birth. But my inner knowing told me that I'm preparing myself for free birth. I didn't know why,
Yeah.
what
Cool.
for, but I was so sure about it.
So,
And yeah,
and I,
in spring 1992, I gave birth in the pool at the house of my husband's parents to our second baby,
wow.
and yeah, it was wow. I was screaming, you mentioned that your sister was so peaceful. I was screaming like, like Tarzan with three different voices, and I was so surprised about my voice opportunities, to make these sounds. And I was like, oh, is it really me? And at some kind, it was so funny. Mm,
Yeah. Do you
Yeah,
feel so with your first birth, did you had your midwife present with you? Is that right?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And how you feel like they were very different, having someone there versus being on your own?
You know, after birth, in birth, I was completely at first birth, I was completely um, satisfied with her services and her role and so on.
Yeah. Awesome.
Uh, sorry, maybe try to turn off and turn on your video because I still don't
Oh, sorry.
don't
Yeah,
see you. Yeah, and I want to see you.
yeah.
Uh,
Cool.
and
Let
I
me
was
go.
completely okay with how it goes. And now I know that I had to feel this experience. Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that it's so medicalized as I heard about hospital birth. It
Okay.
was not so much interventions
Yeah.
at that point, and I was completely okay. And that's why maybe I asked her to attend my second birth. But
Yeah.
years later, as my boys have 3 years difference
Okay.
with them, I started to realize that I want even more in going less of interventions, to make it's even more natural, even
Yeah.
more my.
Yeah. Exactly. That's awesome.
And uh, even I had excessive bleeding after birth, and my placenta was born. I guess it's 3 or 4 hours. I don't remember later, and I bled all this time,
Oh,
but I felt this burst at the burst of power.
yeah,
I aimed my power in this birth,
yeah.
and if I will have to give birth one more baby, I will
Mm-hmm.
choose the path of free birth, I guess.
Yeah.
But even if I will want to have somebody to witness my gorgeous powers as a
Yeah.
birthing woman, I will ask somebody with no medical background at all, not even experience, but background, with no education in this field, no experience, but just like sovereign birth. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, so then obviously you chose this path for yourself, and then do you feel that's why you want to follow this line of work? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
to be that option for other women, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's I had this feeling that it's so beautiful experience. I had no drama around it. I have no, oh, I get this or this, and I have to free everyone from, torturing in hospitals or something
yeah,
like that. No way. I was like, oh boy, I know it from my lived experience, so I have to share with
yeah,
women for them to have opportunities to look at this
yeah.
and choose whatever they want to choose for themselves.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's awesome. Yeah, I feel similarly. I feel like it's just I really think that if more women realize this is an option, that people can do this and that they have the power to birth in their home without medicalization, without medical personnel there,
And
it's
without
gonna,
medical panic, you mentioned
yeah,
it also. Yeah.
exactly. When we realize that birth is another function that our body does, that it's not, it's not this emergency, but it's just a part of life. This is how we're still here as a species, is that we give birth and we're birthed, and it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be,
Just like this.
yeah.
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 And,
This is wonderful.
and in some way, this witnessing of power and having somebody to be here in your whole glory, it may be also some kind of experience of, this religion when
Hmm.
everyone who gave birth at the village and somebody witnessed it and gave the name to the baby, and so many points to own, to
Yeah,
have.
that's Yeah, and just having someone, when you're giving birth, it is some women, they are trying to give up their power. They're like, we get scared and that's normal. And you're going to look to whoever's there. And if it's someone who's willing to take that, if it's someone who's willing to be like, oh, yeah, no, I'll tell you what to do, then they're going to do that. But if you have someone like, I want to be a
Truly
presence
believe
in
in birth. Yeah.
yeah, I want to be a presence in women's birth that is reflecting to them that it's, their power, it's their
Yeah.
moment, their experience, and that they're capable, that women, you are capable of birthing this child, and you're going to know what you need to birth this child. And so, yeah, I trust that even for women who choose to birth in the hospital or to choose to have a medical midwife, they know what they need for that child, they know what they need for themselves. But I also believe,
Absolutely.
for most women to just have undisturbed birth in their home, it's going to be super powerful and such a like up leveling for them to
Yeah.
know that they're capable like that. They don't need it. They don't have to look outside of themselves. They can look to, their guiding light, to God, and to
Ah,
rely on physical selves and their baby. And yeah,
yeah. You mentioned mirroring. Yeah, their powers, because
yeah,
sometimes, and not sometimes, it's pretty often in our culture nowadays to approach birth without knowing your own power. And
yeah,
the birth I become this first time meeting, first time touch. You go in touch with your own power, and
Yeah.
it's huge, and
Yeah.
it's might be scary for sure. And if somebody tells you, yeah, it's all your powers,
Mm-hmm.
you finally find them and you face them.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
yeah,
I think in our culture we have such a habit of looking to something else and never to the mother. You know, even from the beginning
yeah,
when you find out you're pregnant, we look to the pregnancy test or to the lab results, and then we look to the ultrasound, and then we look to the doctor to read the results. And you know, we're never looking at the mother. We're looking
yeah,
at
and
something else, at the
yeah, and
baby.
even if mother says I'm pregnant, the next question is, how do you know?
Mm-hmm.
Did you
Yeah,
make the pregnancy test, or did you make ultrasound or ultrasound?
yeah, exactly.
So we
Yeah.
need some extended proof
Mm-hmm.
why we don't believe in
Yeah.
mother. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, there is something to that in that a lot of women now don't know their own bodies. You know, they don't know what's going on. You know, when I hear the stories of women who go 5 months without realizing they're pregnant, it always blows my mind because I'm like, how would you not? You know, how would
It's
you think?
possible.
You know, we don't really teach women these days about how their body functions, how it works, because we're even
Yeah.
teaching them to look outside of themselves for that, right? You know, get on birth
Yeah.
control or do something like that where it's another outside thing. So yeah, it's super
Uh,
interesting.
You know, you reminded me of the story I heard this week from Olivia Nover, and she said she's Mexican traditional midwife, and she said she had conversation with 19 or 18 years old mother
Mm.
who realized that she was pregnant during her birth.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah, she felt some contractions, and she was guessing maybe some gut pain. I don't know. She ate something wrong,
Yeah.
and she approached. I was surprised that she approached to his her father and her uncle,
Okay.
and both of them, man, both of them said, "Oh, you're gonna have a baby."
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they
Oh,
knew it was so natural for them to understand what's going on with her, and she wasn't scared about
mm.
this. She was like, "Oh, really? I'm gonna have the baby." And she
Okay.
embraced this role of mother
Wow.
at the point of birth.
Yeah.
And she shared this with Naoli, and asked, why didn't you feel scary or terrified about? Oh, it's so natural. I'm woman. Now I'm having a baby.
Yeah.
It's my baby. It's precious baby. It was so
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, that's really
And
beautiful.
yeah,
Yeah, I hope that can be the culture our children live in. You know, I hope that when they find out they're having a baby or when they think about it, it's not with fear, you know. I just was at a youth camp this week, and so many of the girls, they talk about having babies, you know, like they're teenagers, but of course, girls, we're talking about having babies, you know, oh, what baby and this. And there's so much fear. They're like, oh, like I want to have kids, but I'm so scared of giving birth. Like it will be so frightening. And then one girl's telling the story of her sister's hospital birth and how scary it was. And you know, all of this fear is just like so deeply ingrained in us. And yeah, I just want to shift that because that's not what I've seen. That's not what's been the experience in my family
yeah,
now. You know, like I'm sure in my birth and like in when I was born, when my siblings were born, I know there was fear. I was there for my little brother's birth, and that
yeah.
was
So
scary. I was told to not look the whole time. I was 5 years old, and they were like, don't look, look away."
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But that's to see, you know, that's not what my sister's children see when their mothers give birth because it's part of life. It's very exciting. It's like, okay, mama's doing the work to bring this baby into the world, you know, and they get to be around for that. And it's such a different story than what a
yeah.
lot of
And
people.
you will be the first who will meet this baby, who
Yeah,
will
exactly.
welcome him or her to this world. Yeah, It's huge. I remember this quote my midwife gave me, that I don't want uh, to for my baby to have experience when for first time he will be caught by somebody whose hands are smelling with the smoke of cigarettes.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so huge. And about experience at hospital you shared, and actually we don't know that birth is dangerous till the moment somebody tells us their hospital story. And
Yeah.
we start to embrace this experience, and we start to measure, I don't know, to try to feed it on our own, and we start to feel fear even before we get pregnant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'm so sure that the story about this child-free women, most of all are connected with fear, some kind of fears around the childbirth and around mothering, because we don't have these positive experiences.
Yeah.
We don't have women who will share their home birth, free birth stories. And thanks to Emily and Yode sharing this huge work, and they share their podcast, their own lived experience. I'm so enthusiastic about Yo, who's 44 and pregnant with her 11th baby.
Yeah.
It's itself so beautiful story to share. And all 10 previous babies were born at home young.
Yeah. It shows another way. It just shows that this is a possibility, that even though the prevailing narrative is that birth is scary and that we need to fear it and we need to be in the hospital because something's bound to go wrong, it just shows us that that's not true. That's not always the case. That isn't the case most of the time.
Most of the time, it's not the case at all. And I feel like we are here to normalize this kind of experience, just make it ordinary. Not something special, not something different even, but just one of the options. It's so natural.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that, learning about birth and learning about, how your hormones unfold differently in different environments, and how you as a mother have the instincts that are needed to assess your newborn and to greet them and bring them into the world when you are allowed to do that, when you're not being interrupted. And yeah, it's so powerful because for me, like, I feel like learning that is what has made me feel okay with the idea of free birthing a baby one day, because even after my sister's free birth and I witnessed that, I was still like, well, but maybe like for me, I might still like have a midwife, but like just keep her in another room, like so she could be there, like, whatever. But like once I've dived into this education and been reading more and more and educating myself about how birth unfolds and how it all works together so beautifully, like what an incredible design is birth, And
all the processes so aligned, so connected, so
so amazing. But yeah, that's what's given me the confidence that, when I have a baby, I know my body's going to know what to do. And yes, maybe I'll want someone there to witness me in that, but I certainly don't want someone there to assess me in that and to monitor me in that. Like, I don't.
To check me into this.
Yeah. So I think that sums it up pretty well. I don't know. Do you have anything to add, Natalie, of why you want to do this, or do you feel like you've covered it?
Yeah, I feel like I covered this, and I will add one more quote from this Nauli's lecture from her class. She said, "You was born to birth work, and you have it's not your job; it's actually your mission, and you embraced this mission not when you realize you want to become sovereign midwife or something like that. You embrace this mission during your story of your own birth, whatever and however it goes. And all this experience led you to this point to witness other women. And it's so beautiful. It's changed my approach to this path, some kind. And I'm thinking about this for a few days, and I'm there trying to realize how beautiful and how big it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I really, I believe that, we're on this path and it's a calling, it's not just a career that I've chosen. Like, I'm not getting into birth work. I think it'll make me money and be something it's a passion. It's like, I believe this is how I can serve humanity. Like, I want women to have intact births. I want them to experience the power that is innate to them, because I think that will change how they raise their children. And I think that will change the world.
Yeah, I'm sure. And this, you have no even career ladder in this in this perspective, because you are becoming a midwife and you're still midwife and still midwife and no more, a superior job titles.
Yeah, that's really true. I'm just, we're here as, midwives, or just in service to women. That is what we're here for. Yeah, I'm here for my sisters. I'm here to serve the women in my life, my family.
To be so devoted in this, in this service.
Yeah.
And not to bring your own stories and at somebody's birth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. To let women live her own path. Right? Yeah.
So,
beautiful.
Thank you, Krista, for this.
Thank you, Natalie. I'm glad this worked.
So cute. So beautiful life. Hope we will do it sometimes later. Maybe we'll just repeat this experience in life together. Thank you so much. I will save this. Bye.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks, Natalie. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Bye.